A teacher once said to me, all critics secretly want to be artists. While I would never say all critics have this desire, I do think there's a lot of truth to it. And never has that phrase been more relevant for me personally than with Chris Stuckman's debut feature film, Shelby Oaks. And we will get to Shelby Oaks, but this video is more about my own very biased and subjective experience with this movie. I just need to get these thoughts off my chest and move on because the elephant in the room is like why I'm in the room, if that makes sense.
My advice would be to find something in you that was traumatizing or dark or very personal that you can then put your stamp on your story.
I love that.
And if you want to make a movie that feels like a love letter to the horror genre or homage to some of your favorite things, that's great. But make sure that there's something in it that has always been sort of growing inside of you and put that onto the big screen.
God, I love that. You have been very vocal about movies like Spider-Man and Minority Report and Signs making an impact on you as a movie fan.
Some of my favorite people on the internet are critics. If you told me in college that I would be consuming more art criticism in my early 30s than I ever would in classes, I would not believe you. When I see a truly great video drop on this platform, it feels like art, because it is. All critics want to be artists is not really that derogatory when I've seen critics put together a piece of work that is more compelling than the movie itself. Film YouTube is built off the blood-soaked bones of Wish-Upons and Bye-Bye Mans. Show me a Snyder movie and I will show you a 2-hour video essay more entertaining to me that I've rewatched more times. I Hate Everything, Your Movie Sucks, Elephant Graveyard when it comes to the comedy scene, and many more. I love these channels. They have made legitimate art within an art form that is about criticizing art from a more conventional and easy to define capital A artist. I hope that made sense. So much of film criticism on YouTube specifically is about why something is bad. When a movie comes out ripe for ripping apart, I can think of 6 or 7 channels that would come out full throttle and make an entire art project that I will love as its own piece of entertainment separate from the movie because it's made by a very transparent and hilariously critical person, but separate from channels making 3-hour diatribes about why Justice League sucks ass. There's another genre of film criticism on YouTube. The most popular type of film criticism, I think, is the movie title - movie review channels. Channels kind of like Chris Stuckman.
But have we gotten so saturated with comic book films at this point that we need one to be kind of fluffy to appreciate? Just something to think about. I'm going to give Justice League a B-.
Well, I wouldn't count on the tribes of men. We tend to act like the doomsday clock has a snooze button.
Shit sucks, bro!
Chris Stuckman has been the most popular type of YouTube film critic, the movie review guy. He is one of the pioneers of this specific genre, and if you're watching this video, hopefully you know what I mean. Movie name, movie review. Thumbnail, critic's face, and the poster. Welcome back to the channel, blah, 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 like and subscribe. A little surface level. Cinematography's great, head ass. 6 to 10 minutes. The A to F grading system, done. Stuckman is a legend in the game. Influenced everybody from me to God knows who else. But a few years back, see, there was this incident, the Madam Web incident. Chris dropped a video about Madam Web, but instead of shitting on it, criticizing it even a little, he said he was going to stop reviewing movies he didn't like.
I know how hard it is to make a movie. I do not know how hard it is to make a movie under the studio system.
No more real true criticism. And I think I knew that he was working on the movie at that point. This idea of the artist and the critic in conflict within one man was fascinating. A critic turned filmmaker. Most who do it make hot trash like Critical Drinker or self-aware stupid fun like Red Letter Media. Not many of these movie title - movie review guys would even think of doing what Stuckman is doing. They would not dare. I wouldn't be that interested in his reviews anymore, but I sure as shit was excited for Shelby Oaks. Since the criticism came to a halt on his channel, I watch maybe every 5th video he puts out. When it's a movie I've seen and I'm curious to see what he says about it, I'll watch. But I always know he'll talk about how hard it is to make a film because he's doing it.
I love that.
The videos ultimately felt a little pointless to me because I wanted his subjective opinion. Why else are we all here? That's why you have a following, because you're a YouTube movie critic who is incredibly likable and make fantastic videos about how much you love cinema. I believe critics can be artists with their criticism, but it would take a truly multi-talented and inspired artist to go from making videos in the format of movie name, movie review to making his own full-length feature film. Capital A, artist. No more YouTuber label. No more bullshit.
Fuck you! No more bullshit!
What is your own handcrafted, this is how I would do it horror movie? I saw it at 3 p.m. on a Friday, and when I walked out, I was fucking cooked. Keep in mind, I've been a fan of Chris Stuckman since he was doing reviews from his bed. No one's rooting for Chris Stuckman more than me. I wanted this movie to be so good, but this thing is a nightmare. Dude, this thing is a stinker. It completely bummed me out. I thought it was unsuccessful in so many ways. I mean, not in so many ways that it's a hilariosity-worthy movie, though. It's not that bad. It's just mid enough to be my least favorite type of horror movie. Forgettable and pointless.
Why didn't you give it to the police?
So Shelby Oaks is about Mia, who has been searching for her sister Riley for the last 12 years. Riley had a ghost hunting channel on YouTube called The Paranormal Paranoids, which I think is a really bad name to keep hearing over and over and over and over again in this movie, by the way. Just side note. The last place Riley went before disappearing without a trace was Shelby Oaks. A compliment I will give this film is that the first 20 minutes or so are pretty interesting. Seeing footage of Riley and her fellow ghost hunters was compelling because you know something is going to happen at some point. And in a rare moment of inspiration instead of influence in Shelby Oaks, something does happen. The found footage shifts into a normal movie in a really startling and sudden gunshot both in real life and in the last couple seconds of the found footage, if that makes sense. A man runs up to the door of a house and blows his brains out in front of our main character. He's holding a tape that says Shelby Oaks on it. Then we cut to opening credits in slow-mo and it all looks really good. It's a transition that is somehow both jarring and seamless. And from there, boy, I thought it was gonna stay that interesting. I would have been so excited to come on here and praise the hell out of this movie. But Stuckman as a feature film director is just too fascinating. I'd be doing a disservice to, at the very least, myself to not bring up my feelings about this movie, because I normally don't talk about stuff I don't like. I like glazing stuff, but I need to talk about this. Bear with me. So back to the plot. Mia grabs the tape before anyone sees it and she pops the tape in. And it shows what happened the day Riley went missing. It's right back to a bunch of found footage right after that intro that was so interesting. Mia knows she's got to go find her because she's out there. And the rest of the movie is just her alone looking for Riley.
Just hanging around.
She's in the woods, she's in a prison, she's in a house, her husband doesn't listen. And there's also a bunch of cliche demonology, cult worship, there's hellhounds, it's really boring. The only interesting plot point is in the last 10 minutes, and spoilers here, Mia does find Riley, who has had a baby with this cult. We explicitly know the baby's probably a demon. Riley wants to kill the baby, obviously, but because of one single line in the first act, we know Mia has always wanted to have kids but can't. So in the last 10 minutes, we are gonna believe that Mia's need for a baby trumps Mia's 12-year-long tireless search for her sister. Mia inadvertently kills her sister, protecting the baby, then the hellhounds come and eat Riley, who's fallen out of the window. Then a big, muscled demon man is standing behind Mia. We've seen him before, but we see him again now, and the credits roll, and she's like, smile, cry, screaming. I mean, all right, man.
So what's the big fucking deal? What the fuck are we doing out here? I asked you, what in the fuck are we doing here?
This movie is what you've been working on this whole time. While the direction is well handled for the most part, I guess, the writing feels not just mid, but kind of awful. And I think Andrew Baird is more who I am appreciative of after the movie, given how good it looks. He's the cinematographer on this thing, and yeah, it looks really pretty. I'm sure Chris had a huge input in that, but Andrew Baird is the cinematographer, and hey, the cinematography's really great in this one. Hearing about how this is the story he's been trying to tell forever, how many drafts of this he's done, how tirelessly he's worked on this script. If that's the case, it blows my mind how undercooked this thing is, relying more on jump scares and tropes than a hard-earned, character-driven tension. Why is the movie not scary, but I jumped in my seat twice?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
I know the difference, dude. So do you.
I love that.
I don't know if it's because he's influenced by the most popular and often iterated upon movies and filmmakers of all time, but this thing is like the worst version of all of those things. It's what you shouldn't do, what I did not expect him to really do. Shelby Oaks just keeps dragging its feet with nothing to do or say. With the twist in Mia's decision seeming to be so important at the end, it boggles the mind why her desire for a family was not emphasized in the first leg of the film more substantially. We never really get to know her. We see a lot of stuff on her face, but she's just trembling and panting and freaking out at everything, which, by the way, is good for horror, and Camille Sullivan is doing her best to make the dialogue and scenes work, but they just don't. This is a trailer movie, where even after you see the movie, it just feels like you watched the trailer again. All your memories of it are like just the trailer. There's no substance to it. It's hollow. Or even worse, it felt like content. The $1.4 million budget, specifically the extra funds from Neon and Mike Flanagan, however much that was, felt like it might have went to waste here. It went to the hellhounds, I bet, and maybe some of the stunts and CGI. And if that money went to the casting, then I would say it was successful. The performances are not the issue with Shelby Oaks. That is a tiny budget, but I'd like to point out that fellow YouTuber turned filmmaker Kyle Edward Ball made his debut feature Skinamarink for 15 fucking racks, and that beats Shelby Oaks every day of the week. I love that movie. I would understand the argument, however, that Skinamarink is operating with a different set of rules given the abstract nature of it. 15K is not that hard to believe when you finally see the end result. It's an experiential vibe kind of movie, but it's really good, and it was a great horror movie if you want to be scared or unsettled in any way at all because it's a horror movie. Danny and Michael Filippo also released their sophomore A24 film Bring Her Back. That was one of the more uneasy and upsetting horror experiences I had this year. I didn't even want to make a video about it when it came out because it just made me feel kind of bad. It freaked me out. It was effective, even though the broad name of YouTuber applies to both. The Filippos and Kyle Edward Ball, for that matter, have been actively filming things their entire career on YouTube. They've been writing, producing, and directing fiction, horror, comedy, action. They got really good because they had a lot of practice. Stuckman can wax Fableman all he wants about filming stuff in the woods when he was a kid and always wanting to be a filmmaker, and that's really sweet, but he's been doing movie title, movie review for 15 years. These YouTubers are not all the same, so I cut Stuckman a lot of slack there too. Look, I never expected Shelby Oaks to be as good as Bring Her Back, but I expected some kind of voice to come through, and I just kept hearing Steven and Peter and M and Park and Blair. I actually agree with John Flickinger in his review where he suggested that Chris Stuckman should maybe just direct and let someone else bring a script to him. His direction maybe could be uniquely Stuckman, but if the writing is Stuckman, unless he improves greatly between now and his next movie, it's gonna be just as clunky and hollow as this was. I wanted something uniquely Stuckman, and there really wasn't a damn thing in this movie I can name that felt like that. And I would be so excited to talk about it if there was. That's all my channel is praising movies I love and talking about them. I don't make videos like this, and like I said, I hope this doesn't come off as blind hate for him. If this made a ton of money, I would be ecstatic. It won't, but I hope it does. And I hope he gets to make another film, and I hope it's better. If he wants to be considered an artist instead of a critic now, the only thing that matters to me is the art being good and interesting. The kind of stuff I thought you always wanted to make. If people genuinely love Shelby Oaks, I'm jealous. I wish I did. And I don't want to take that away from you. I've just been thinking about Shelby Oaks and all these years watching Chris's channel. And Chris, if you see this, It's one movie, dude. It's one outing, and I'm equally as excited for your next movie as I was for this, because I know it's going to be pretty different now that you have gotten your feet wet. I hope you improve tenfold. I never intended on disliking or having a negative bias going into your movie, but I've listened to you speak about movies my entire adult life. I am on your side. Hey, you Stuckmanized me, man. That's not the kind of thing you can just take back, okay? Anyway, I've just been thinking about all this stuff a lot and wanted to get my thoughts off my chest and make you listen to them. And thank you for listening. If you made it this far, by the way, that's huge for both of us. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next one. Later, guys.